Welcome to the 24th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. Do I really need to say what episode it is? I just thought about that. Because number one, I always forget. And number two, I don't know if it's ever relevant, but I mean, I've been doing it all this time, so I might as well keep doing it. But it's the 24th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. And before we begin the episode proper, I have a prop. Something here. I have a little glass, a little bottle of sparkling. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. It's sparkling. It's not real alcohol. YouTube. Thank you. But I thought, oh God, I have to really be careful with this. I really don't want to spill this red juice on my yellow rug. I already opened this bottle before I started recording, but I don't know if I jostled it around too much, but it's fizzing. Uh-oh. I don't like that. Hold up. No, I gotta. How did this even start fizzing that much? I moved it from my freaking kitchen bench over here, steps away, and it's already doing all this. How do you do that, bro? Oh my God, you are being so difficult right now. I'm popping a bottle because I am celebrating. Okay, are you gonna behave? Ooh, I don't think it is. I can see the bubbles rising. Okay, I'm closing that back. Oh God, why? I don't know. You're just gonna have to be careful. And I don't have no napkins, no towels, or nothing like anywhere nearby. Yeah, I just have to be careful. I don't know why this is doing this though. I literally opened it up minutes ago and I had no problems. But now, because we're on camera, we want to act brand new. Oh Lord. Okay, it is fizzing quite a bit. And I can't really see the bubbles because of this foil. Or like the level or anything like that. But, oh gosh, is this spilling? Okay, no. This was supposed to be a very straightforward bit. And now it's not. Because I thought I had sufficiently prepared for this. But apparently I have not. I'm just going to open it up. Okay, we're going to set that right there. And we're going to carefully pour myself a glass here of fake sparkling red grape juice that may or may not resemble, oh God, I don't know how to, okay, I'm just going to put it right here. That may or may not resemble alcohol because I am a winner. I am a winner. Am I a first place winner? No. But I am a second place winner, and that's better than third, which is better than not winning at all. So, yeah, let me have a sippy sip. It tastes like grape juice. That's what I can say. It tastes like grape juice. Yeah, I posted on my community tab on my main channel that I had gotten nominated for an award not while I was at work, but for work-related things. The award ceremony was last night, and I got second place in the category that I was nominated in, which is, would have been nice to get first, but considering that, when I made the stuff that I was nominated for, I hadn't even been working at my job for a year. I think that's pretty dope, that I can come onto a job, make some stuff that can already be considered, award nominated, if not award winning. So I am quite proud of myself for that. However, I'm putting this top back on because this is making me nervous. It's not all about me. My department did very well in a lot of the categories that we were nominated for. It's just that the one for the thing that I made specifically only got second place, but there are a lot of winners in our department, and I'm very proud of all of us. We make very good work. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say before I really hopped into the episode proper. I had a lot of fun being at an award show. It was my first ever award show for anything other than like elementary school awards. So, that was a pretty dope experience, I will say, getting to dress up all nice. I wish I had a picture of it. I did not take a picture, but I did my makeup. I wore a strip lash for the first time in my very small age of 24 years. And for a first time, I think I did pretty good. They didn't come off, they weren't asymmetrical. It was a little bit wonky, I'm not gonna lie. Wearing lashes for the first time has made me hyper aware of the fact that there are eyelashes on my eyes, and now I feel like I can constantly see my eyelashes in my peripheral vision, so it might take a little while for that to go away, but it was nice. I looked nice. I won second place. I got a little certificate, and my department got a lot of stuff to say that, hey, we are an award winning department, and I guess I can put that I won second place on my resume. So that was nice. I don't know if my tone is like indicating how happy I am by this, but I am genuinely like really happy by it. Like, it was pretty nice to be recognized by my peers, that was really, really nice. But aside from that, I have a whole list of topics today. I don't know if you can tell, but there are more topics than there usually are, and I honestly might not even talk about all of this stuff. But anyways, I mean, we're just gonna get to it right off the bat. It is, what's today? The 7th or the 8th? It's April 7th. I know what that means. 2 days ago, Cure by Erra came out, and I have literally been listening to it since it came out. On Friday, I was listening to it basically all day as I was working. Listened to it a lot when I got home. Saturday, listened to it a lot. Like, I have been listening to it pretty much nonstop since it came out, which is really interesting because I did not have that experience with self-titled. Like, I really like Erra self-titled. It's on the wall. It's on the wall, so clearly it means something, but I instantly liked Cure, which is really interesting because I think, something that kind of caught me off guard when I first turned on Erra self-titled was, the intro to Snowblood is like, it's electronic. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be another one of those, I don't know, not really metal bands that are just kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what I was thinking at the time, but the electronic in the intro to Snowblood definitely threw me off, which is really interesting because, again, New Demons by I See Stars is also a vinyl that's on the wall. And I mean, that's basically like dubstep metal fusion in a really weird way, but works. And also the rest of I See Stars discography. I mean, it's not just that album. So I don't know why I was so thrown off by it in self-titled. Let me not knock that over. I think the electronic elements are definitely represented a lot more in Cure, but I do really like them. I like them a lot. There's a song specifically. Give me a minute. I shall look. I'm looking on Spotify. I believe it's Slow Sour Bleed. Is it that? I think so. I've been listening to the album front to back, like on repeat for a while, so all the songs are just kind of starting to melt together. So if I get a song title wrong, then oopsie, but I think you'll know which one I'm talking about, where there's kind of like a I don't know how to explain this kind of electronic music other than like cyberpunk core. Cause like I listen, when I was younger, like when I was in middle school, I used to be really into like EDM, like Porter Robinson, Dead Mouse, Skrillex, all of that stuff. Back then I feel like I knew the differences between like dubstep, drum and bass, etc. a little bit more than I do now. Because I think all that energy has been refocused into knowing all of the metal subgenres. So, I mean, I don't know. It feels like cyberpunk core. That's what I can say. But that part in that song specifically, I ended up like really liking that. At first, I was like, I don't want to like this, but then I thought about it, and it's like, why don't I want to like this? This is really good. I really like this. So I'm glad. I wish I See Stars would put like 2015 era dubstep back in their music. It really added something. It really added a flavor. I mean, obviously, what I'm describing in this era track is nowhere near 2015 era dubstep, but still, though, it's kind of a vibe. I kind of like it. If I were to give my overall thoughts, first of all, off the bat, I like the album. I like it a lot. Would I go so far as to say I love the album? It's been 2 days. I don't know her like that. I can't say the L word just yet. I am feeling that way though. My feelings are going in that direction. Do I like it more than self-titled? I don't know yet. Even though I have been listening to it a whole lot since Friday, I don't know if I can say whether or not I like it more than self-titled. I don't know how it really compares. I'll have to give it some time to kind of put those feelings and emotions in context, but as of right now, I like it a lot. My favorite tracks. I wasn't really listening to the singles before this album came out. And what's really interesting is that the singles for me got the treatment of self-titled, which I think I might have talked about on the pod before, but I mean, if I have, I've forgotten by now. So I feel like I remember mentioning it though. So when the singles came out, the first single, Pale Iris, I listened to it and I was like, "Ooh, new era's coming." But for whatever reason, I wasn't like super enthused about it off the bat. Like I don't know why, but I listened to it once and then never again for like months. Like that was kind of the vibe for me. But then I did listen to it again and I was like, "Oh, wait. I like this a lot. I'm going to listen to this on repeat for like several days." And that was that for me. I did listen to the new singles as they came out. I listened to what was the next one to come out? Blue Reverie. For some reason again, I just wasn't into it when it came out. And then I think Crawl Backwards Out of Heaven was a single. I listened to that as well. I really wasn't feeling any particular way about it. And then Cure the single I listened to, and again, I wasn't feeling any particular way about it. It was just like I had no opinions about any of the singles. However, now that I'm listening to all of them, like in the context of the album itself, I feel like I like the songs a lot more as part of like a larger thing rather than on their own. For some reason, I'm not really sure why. I feel like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I feel like. That's just kind of the thoughts that I have about the album. And also, I don't know if I'm like squinting or not, but my light is like, it's directly in front of me and it's pretty bright. So if ever you do see me squinting in these, it's because there's a light in my eyeballs. And also, if you can't see me squinting because you're only listening to the audio version, if you're only listening to the audio version of the podcast, I mean, you already know. You're only getting half the story, of course. But anyways, slight tangent. If I have to give like my favorite non-single songs, definitely Wish into Glimpse. I really like a nice little interlude into like, another song where it kind of carries on the musical theme from the interlude. I said on Twitter, on twitter.com, which you should be following me at, that it kind of reminded me of a Shy into The Problem of Other Minds by Animals as Leaders, but now I'm not thinking that's really the case. I mean, it does remind me of that because, I don't know, it just kind of puts me in that mind, but I don't think there are any musical themes from, sort of. It's not as overt as in Wish to Glimpse, but there's some musical themes that get carried over from a Shy to The Problem of Other Minds, just not really a whole lot, but I do really like those two tracks that go into one another, and they don't even really kind of transition into one another. It's just a Shy ends and then The Problem of Other Minds starts. So I don't know if that's the best comparison to make, but that's what I thought about immediately when I first heard those two tracks. Aside from that, I do really like Cure as an opener track. I feel like it's a really strong opening track. Like it really starts things up. Like I love a good opening track. Like down. Like I love a good opening track, and I think Cure is a really good opening track. Let's see. Like I said, Wishing to Glimpse, Crawl Backwards Out of Heaven. That one grew on me. The single to, being in the context of the album. I think I like it there a little bit more. Into Excess, I have really grown fond of that song as well. The only thing for me, I'll say this, the only thing for me about this album that I'm not too sure about, and I might need some more time to think about it, is the ending track. The ending track, Wave, which, going from Pale Iris to Wave, I don't know. I don't know if I mean, I like Wave, the song on its own, but as an ending track, it's definitely lacking for me because, coming from self titled, having Memory Fiction be the track that it is, being such a really cinematic ending track, like that, it really feels like the closing of a book in musical form, The Wave is just kind of, I don't want to say it's just kind of there, but it's just kind of, I don't know, it's not giving what I need it to give. That's the only way that I can describe it, really, for an ending track anyways. And I mean, out of all these other songs, I really don't know what would serve as a better ending track. I think for the most part right now, as far as song order goes in this album, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like every track is placed where it is and that feels right. But I don't know, I feel like there should be something like after Wave. Like I don't know, Wave, it just feels kind of abrupt. Cause every time, I'm listening to the album, and again, I've been listening to it on repeat for a few days now. Every time it goes from Wave to Cure, I'm like surprised that the album is over and that it's starting over again. Cause Cure, again, it's a very, I guess, I don't know, obvious beginning song. And Wave, it just feels like it's just there. I don't know what else to say, other than, I don't know. Again, I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit more, give it a few more listens, because again, the album has been out for a whopping, Friday, Saturday, yeah, 3 days. So I'm gonna have to marinate on it a little bit more. But overall, let me tell you something though. I can already tell. I can already taste it. I can already tell that hearing these songs live is gonna rip and tear so freaking hard. Like, oh my gosh, I am so excited to be seeing Erra at the end of this month in their hometown. Like, let's go. Like, let's go, bro. Like, let us go. Okay? This is going to be an amazing show. I can already tell you. It's gonna be an amazing show. Like, I am so juiced for it. You have no idea. You have zero idea how absolutely geeked I am for this Erra gig at the end of the month. Like, I don't think I can fully articulate it to you. Like, you just gotta trust me on it. Like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a one for the books. Like, I can already feel it in my bones. Like, listen, I've seen them perform. This will be my 4th time. I already know they can put on a good show, and the energy and the vibes from Cure, the album, are, oh, I know it's going to be perfect live. I know it. And I was actually going through my phone recently, and I saw that the vast majority of my phone's storage space is taken up by concert videos. So I had to, go through and kind of do a little spring cleaning in my phone, and I did clear out quite a bit of space. I don't even think I think it might be like just over half of all my phone space is taken up. However, I remember when I had first gotten my phone, it's a Samsung A53 5G, which, yes, it's the brokey Samsung phone, but I paid for it in full, and I don't have a payment plan on a phone. Because that just, I don't know. I never liked the idea of that, especially now when I'm paying for most of my things, the vast majority of my things. I don't want to be on a payment plan, so I bought a phone that I could afford. And honestly, it's a pretty good phone. I'm not going to give a review, but it's decent. Does what I need it to do. I'll put it that way. But I remember when I was transferring my SIM card from my old phone into my new one, I saw that this little doohickey right here, it has a micro SD card slot. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to buy a micro SD card. Like, you can get them pretty cheap these days, and that'll basically, I don't know, really extend my phone storage space, and I can take so many concert videos, because anytime I go to a show, either a big concert or like a small local gig, I'm taking a video. I want to remember it. So, and yes, I am that person that goes back and looks at concert videos. Like, I do that. So I want to have enough space to sufficiently do that. And I don't want to make the mistake that I made the first time, the second time that I saw Erra, and take like one video because I want to be in the moment. Like, yeah, I was in the moment, but now I don't have anything to remember. Like, I wish I gotten some videos of Alpha Wolf performing. They are touring in North America again, but I mean, nowhere near here. So, that was kind of silly of me. I really should have not done that. So, whatever. That's a little mini review of Cure, I guess. I'm gonna take another sip of this. My mouth is dry. Almost just spilled that all over myself. Okay, speaking of gigs, I've already talked about the Amity Affliction, which that one's coming up pretty soon, but I had found out rather serendipitously on accident about another gig that's coming up pretty far away. It's in October. And I'm wondering if I've talked about this already, because I can't quite remember when I actually bought the ticket versus when my last episode aired. I'm gonna have to see. Don't start playing. Okay. No, I did not mention it in the last episode. What about the one before that? Probably not. This came out 3 weeks ago. Okay. I haven't talked about this. I wanted to make sure I hadn't. The memory is not memorying if I really can't remember the things that I've talked about on this podcast, but whatever. It's been 24 episodes now. Cut me some slack. I'm mostly telling that to myself. But anyways, I rather serendipitously found out about an upcoming gig pretty soon. Not here, but in New Orleans. So I'm the kind of person where I actually check my emails. I know there's some people out there who have 3,000 unread emails, which is kind of crazy. I don't read all my emails, obviously, but I look at the subject line to see if it's important. If it's not, I delete it. If it is, then I do read it. And sometimes, there are bills and I have to keep them. Otherwise, I will get my utilities shut off. So, I kind of have to check my email. But sometimes I'll, obviously check the social tab of my Gmail. And I also check the promotions tab because sometimes there are actual promotions in there that I want to hear about. And this one, I can't even remember what the email was or where it was from. It's probably from Bands in Town, but at the same time, I don't think it was that. But either way, no, it wasn't. I think it was from Live Nation. Basically, I had seen that, Live Nation, they do the upcoming concert near you type of thing. And so I saw that, I can't remember how the email was formatted, but I saw that Sleeping with Sirens was going to be in New Orleans pretty soon. Well, actually not pretty soon at all, because the one that I'm going to, it's in October. This is at the end of the year. This is pretty far in advance. But I actually opened up the email and it's when was this? This was I think it was before work. It was in the morning and I was checking my emails as I normally do before I go to work. And I had seen it. I was and I actually started reading the email. I went to the actual, the website and read all the details. And I was how is this my first time hearing about this? This is insane. So basically, I had already known about this, but the When We Were Young festival that goes on in Las Vegas every year. Well, I guess every year for the last couple of years. Basically this year, which I've already talked about the When We Were Young festival. I remember that one because I remember when the lineup got released. And I see it's all these bands that are going to be doing their classic albums in full, which I don't know. I mean, I know that music festivals, usually it's a multi-stage situation, but I mean, I think they kind of ran into this in the first year. People were joking that it was going to be the Fire Fest for emo kids because it was going to be a bajillion bands and one, maybe not one stage, but in one day. But I think they ended up extending it to 2 or 3 days, which I don't know why they initially announced it as only being one day. How that's not even possible, even if you were going for 12 hours a day. The amount of bands they had on that bill, that it didn't make sense, but I guess they eventually figured it out. I don't know. I've not heard from anyone who's been to When We Were Young. Who knows? It might be a friggin' figment of my imagination. But anyways, this year, which I believe it's in, well, I don't know when it's in. It might be in September or something like that. a lot of these bands again are going to be coming and performing all of their like classic albums in full. Like A Day to Remember, I think, is performing Homesick. um what is it? Oh my god, why can't I remember like a single one of these? I think Mayday Parade is doing A Lesson in Romantics. Is that the name of that album? I don't know, the umbrella one, the orange one. You know what I'm talking about. All of these bands, I think the only one that hadn't been announced was Fall Out Boy, either because they hadn't decided or because it's gonna be a surprise. It should be Infinity on High, like that's the only correct answer, which again, it's on the wall. um, but yeah, and I was like, oh man, this is so crazy. All these great, classic bands coming together, performing their classic albums in full. It'd be so cool. And Sleeping with Sirens was on that, performing Let's Cheers to This in full, which is like, oh, cool. But I guess they decided, or whoever's in charge of deciding these things, I don't really know, but somebody decided that they should take that show on the road. And so now they're doing a tour performing Let's Cheers to This in full, and they're coming to New Orleans on a day that I can actually go. So I'm going in October. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. I actually really love Let's Cheers to This. I feel like, in my Spotify library of like, no lie, there's like 900 songs that I have saved. And that's not even, I feel like that's not everything. I feel like there's some things in my like song library in Spotify that like haven't been saved. Or wait, that doesn't make sense. They're in there, they have been saved. There are some that should be in there, but I haven't saved them in there for some reason. Anyways, I feel like there are a lot of songs out of those 900 that like have a story associated with them. And I feel like, at least definitely one song from Let's Cheers to This has a story associated with it. Which I guess, I mean, I brought it up, I guess I'll explain it now. So the song, not me forgetting the song, that's silly. It's track 2, you know which one it is. If You Can't Hang. I had to think about it a little bit. The song If You Can't Hang, so back in the day when I still had an iPhone and I would listen to music on it was the iTunes radio, but it was before whatever they have now. It's the one that they got rid of for Apple Music. The one that was around like 2014, basically. I don't know. I guess that explains it. But back in those days, I was still downloading MP3s and like manually loading them on my phone, which is crazy to think about now that I've had Spotify for however long I've had it for. So that's crazy. But anyways, I was still manually loading MP3s on my phone. And I remember it very distinctly. It wasn't an exact moment. I think it's just like kind of a general vibe or feeling. So I've talked about this. Have I talked about this? I must have talked about it at some point. Maybe on my last podcast. I don't think I ever did a proper main channel video on it. It's been on the list for genuinely at this point years. But basically, when I was in high school, I used to do this thing called dual enrollment. And that's basically where you take college classes alongside your high school classes. But the first couple of years that I did that, it was only during the summer. So I was basically in summer school, even though I was, a model student. But 2014, this was the year after my ninth grade year. The summer after my ninth grade year. So going into my 10th grade year, I did summer school at the local community college. But being that I was 14 years old, was I 14? I might have been 13. I was only 13 at this point. Okay, being that I was 13 years old, I obviously couldn't drive. Like, I wasn't old enough to get my learner's permit. And I wasn't one of those kids that was like, driving around when they're like 10, because I mean there were kids like that I knew growing up. I wasn't one of them. Okay, I was being driven places, and as such I had to be driven to and from a community college every day, which is really interesting because during that time, I was in class with, and it wasn't even mostly, it was just adults. It really was just adults. I was the only child in there, and I remember, being at this age and getting out of my English class and getting on the elevator with my classmates, and they were talking about like their children and like their adult problems that they have to deal with, and I was just thinking about, playing Mind Z when I got home. So it's like there's a definite divide there that was very obvious. But anyways, I would have to wait in the lobby every day for my mom or my dad. It was mostly my mom though, to come pick me up. And around this time, I had just, I guess, discovered Let's Cheers to This. Maybe not the album itself, but definitely there are some songs from it that would get played in my iTunes radio, which I think at this point it was still the Fall Out Boy radio. I would listen to the Fall Out Boy radio, heard so many classic songs. I discovered so much good music through that Fall Out Boy iTunes radio. Like, I really, yeah, Fall Out Boy was definitely my gateway drug into, well, all of this and, a lot of heavier music. I could honestly go on a whole thing about my music discovery during that time, but I won't. I will refrain from it. But basically, the song If You Can't Hang would play a lot in that radio station, along with, other classics such as Bulls in the Bronx and stuff from With Ears to See and Eyes to Hear. And eventually, I liked the song so much. I would make a list of songs, that I'd want to download and put on my little pink iPhone. And so I had downloaded If You Can't Hang, and I would listen to it on repeat because I really liked it. And I don't know, it's just, the visual that I get when I listen to that song, even now, is that, I'm sitting in the lobby of this community college, looking out of the window, waiting for my mom to pick me up. And I can see that in my mind's eye every time I listen to that song. And it really is interesting for me how really powerful memory how really powerful memory is. Okay, yes, that is a correct statement. How really powerful memory is when it's connected to certain songs. Like, again, I feel like I have a memory for like a whole lot of songs that are saved in my library, and I could go through all of them, but I wouldn't because I don't know how interesting that would be. But just know every song for me has a story. That's my story for If You Can't Hang. And I don't know. I guess that's why. Well, I mean, that's not why I'm excited to see Sleeping with Sirens. It's just a good album. Like, I've been listening to it in full a little bit here recently. And I will say, it got some bangers. I will say, most of the bangers are concentrated, like, in the first half of that album. The second half is kind of just okay, I'm not gonna lie. But, A1 top tier closing track, by the way. Oh my god. Like, just like I said, when I was talking about the Amity Affliction, I might cry in the pit during Give It All. I might cry on the rails during Let's Cheers to This. So, I don't know. I've got the whole world in front of me. I'm not letting go till I say, this is my life. Don't slip away. I made up my mind. This time, I forgot the lyrics. Oops. Whoopsie. Anywho, enough of that. I have so many things on this list that I would like to get to. Been to some more gigs, some more giginas around here. That doesn't make sense. Let's see. Most recent gig here was this Friday. I've had a very busy weekend. Like, I've been busy. I kind of want to lay down, which, I mean, I will get to lay down soon because it's 7 o'clock. I don't know why I waited so late in the day to do this, but I did. Oopsie. Anyway, on Friday, I went to see 3 bands. One of them was My Good Judy's Measureless Aeons. Oh, I forgot to say it in the last episode, but they recently, they have a new song. I don't know what it's called, so I can't really talk about it, so that was kind of useless, but they performed it again on Friday. It was really good. I really liked it. And if you want to hear it, you just got to see them in person again until they put this demo out. It really is classical time, so that's all I'll say. Anyway, I saw them, another new band, New Kids on the Block alert, a band called Hammer and the Tools. I really like them. I could get into them. Like, yeah, the groove was there. I could get into it. I really liked it. And I'm kind of kicking myself for not seeing them earlier. But, for being so new, they got the energy. They got the chutzpah, if I shall say. They got the moxie. And I'm really excited to see them a little bit more and some upcoming gigs. I don't know what are the ones that they have that are upcoming, but whatever ones that they have that are upcoming, and I might see them there. Hopefully, it would be nice. Um, and another band that I saw there, I suppose they were headlining, was a little band called Tear Dungeon. I don't know why they're not. It's not a little band. They're just a band. They're not little. They're normal size. They're a band called Tear Dungeon. They're from Austin? Question mark. They're from Texas. I'm pretty sure it's Austin and not Houston. Definitely not Dallas. Pretty sure it's Austin. Austin, Texas. All the way from Austin, Texas, which is, a very short 6-hour drive, which is sarcasm. I don't find 6-hour drives to be short. I hate driving. Anyway, they're from Austin. And so the gig poster that I saw of them, some of the gig posters that get posted, they'll list the genre for some of the bands, but sometimes the genres will be like kind of silly. So when they were listed as Austin Garage Gimps, I thought, oh, this is just an unserious, genre descriptor. And it's like, yeah, they might be, I don't know what the vibe is based off of that. I really couldn't tell you. But when, I got there and they went on and I saw that they're, wearing actual GIMP masks, I was like, oh, that was serious. Okay, cool. Got it. Understood. But yes, Tear Dungeon. The vocalist was really good, by the way. I like them. Whoever the vocalist is, shout out to you. Whomever you are. Don't know your name. Probably will never learn it. Hate to say it, but I like the cut of your jib. Anyways. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, duh. They were all wearing... Well, okay. Let me say this. They were not all wearing GIMP masks. There were three. There are 3 GIMP masks, right? If we're saying, a GIMP mask is like the latex with the eye holes and the mouth holes, there are only 3 of them. One of them was wearing a ski mask, which I don't think that counts. And the other one was wearing what I can only describe as a Zodiac killer mask, because that's what it looked like to me. Yeah, and that was their thing. And they all wear white, and it looked like someone had splashed like pink lemonade on their clothes because it had like pink splatter on it. I don't know what the intention was there, but it did look like, oh no, I spilled some red Kool-Aid on my white shirt and now it won't come out. That was the vibe that I was giving, but they were really good. I like them a lot. And if you are in Austin, or I guess anywhere that they're performing, see them at least one time. At least once. At least humor me for once. Just see them once, okay? And you'll want to see them again. Because not gonna lie, I kind of do want to see them again. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, that was my weekend. Seeing some very interesting bands. Winning second place in an award. And today's Sunday and here I am. Big chillin'. Oh, well, I guess it's not just here I am. I have been, I'm not a super big fan of like vague booking or being vague about things, but I have been working on some stuff. And that's really all I can say. I mean, there's really nothing stopping me from saying it other than I want to delay gratification for now, but I have been working on something that could be really cool if I can get it to pan out to be what I want. And yeah, that's the gist of it. I will say, even though it has been literally one day, I have gotten a lot of support from a specific community. And I think that's really dope. I really think that's dope. I didn't think it would catch on like it did so fast. Literally, it's been a day. Not even a full 24 hours. But I will say that's pretty dope. And, all will be made clear in at least by the next podcast episode. Maybe a little bit after that. I don't know yet. I don't know what the timeline is like. I am the one creating the timeline, so it's like, you know, it really is all up to me. But again, I want to delay gratification for now. All will be made clear at minimum by the end of the month. Can I say that? I probably can say that. So yeah, watch this space. Which space? I don't know. I mean, I'll probably post it. Well, definitely, duh. I will post about it once everything comes to fruition. But I'm still working on things, and that's all I can say for now. Let me see. Are there any more musical related topics on here before I move on to the non-music things? I don't think. Yes, there are. Okay, so on Reddit, I think this morning. It had to be this morning because I don't think it was yesterday morning. But I saw that I believe this was on Merch Bar. I don't know. It was on some merch website. I think it was Merch Bar, which I, of course, said. I said this before in another episode. I don't know how legit Merch Bar is. It probably is legit, but I don't know how much of the revenue from Merch Bar goes directly to the artists, which is why I think I must have bought something from there before because I keep getting emails from them. But I think when it comes to buying merch, I think I would rather buy it as directly from the artists as I can, so that revenue can go to them. But I'm sure Merch Bar, I mean, listen, again, I don't know what their revenue share thing is, but that's not really what this is about. I saw this morning on Reddit.com that apparently someone had seen on Merch Bar that our good Judies at Invent Animate are going to release a new edition of a Everchanger vinyl, which again, it's on the wall. I already have an Everchanger vinyl. I actually can't remember if it's a special one or not, or if it's just black. It probably is just black. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm never going to take these out of the friggin' frames, but I guess it would help to remember. I think it is just black though. But anyways, they're re-releasing a double LP version of Everchanger that will include an instrumental version of the album. What did I just say? An instrumental. Did I say instrumentum? I don't know. An instrumental version of the album. And I think that's really cool. I don't know. Well, okay. It actually did list the track list, and I could go back on Reddit and look, but I don't want to do that. But I do know that, disc 1 will be the normal version of the album, and disc 2 will be the instrumental version. And that is significant because every single other release that Invent Animate has had, I don't know about The Sun Sleeps. I mean, that's an EP. I'm not about to look. Well, maybe I am, actually. Speaking of The Sun Sleeping, the eclipse is tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to see it because it's going to rain. I'm very unhappy about that. But anyways, let's see. Yeah, The Sun Sleeps does not, to my knowledge, have like an official instrumental release. Still World does, Gravy does, Heavener just got one recently, but now, finally, for the 10th anniversary, Everchanger will get its instrumental version, which, I mean, there's probably like instrumental versions of the album floating around there somewhere. Like, people love making instrumental versions of things, official or otherwise. You know what I just noticed? My lights aren't on. And I'm not about to get up to turn them on. It's whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I just forgot. Oops. That is disappointing though. Anyways, yeah, Everchanger, 10th anniversary, instrumental. I haven't been talking about it a whole lot because, my hope has been faltering somewhat in these past couple of months and weeks. But I am still, perhaps foolishly, no, I won't say foolishly, I don't want to give up hope. I am still holding out hope for an Everchanger 10th anniversary tour where they play it all in full and, like, Ben is there, I am still hoping for that, but if I have to settle for... I don't want to settle, though. I don't want to settle. I'm not settling. I did see that they're, like, all booked up to, like, the end of July, supporting other bands on their tours, which is fine, but, it would be nice to have a headlining tour. I mean, even if it's just one show, I would very much like to go. And I did say several episodes ago that I would buy the plane ticket for Invent Animate. I think the fact does still stand. However, given that all the way up until literally the end of the year, I have at least one trip a month. Well, okay, that's not true. I don't have any in June or July. But aside from those 2 months, basically every month up until the end of the year, I will have a trip. So I don't know if I can pencil them in, but if I get like a live stream, like a paid live stream, or, a VOD, $25, I'll drop that on that. I'm not there, but God, it would be really nice. And I am glad that they are acknowledging Everchanger's 10th anniversary. It'd be weird if they weren't. But a special edition vinyl, some special edition merch, that's all fine and good, but I am still holding out in my heart of hearts, a 10th anniversary tour with a stop in either Memphis, Birmingham, or New Orleans, which again, I said I would buy the plane ticket, but I still would. I would just have to consider it. I would have to think about it. I'd have to really think about. I have to consult the council. At least in one of those 3 cities on like a Saturday. I'll even take a Sunday. I'll take a Sunday. I could do a Sunday. A Saturday or a Sunday. Maybe a Friday. That depends. A Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday. Memphis, Birmingham, New Orleans. I'm holding out hope for that. I know, things, they don't always go my way. They frequently don't go my way. But this year, I'm hoping a hope of hopes that it will happen. I'm not losing hope yet, So, yeah. Who knows? There might be a big announcement waiting for me tomorrow. I might, put in the description of this podcast episode like a bunch of exclamation marks because something got, announced. I already missed the Heavener tour. I wasn't super happy about that, but, missed it because they weren't anywhere near here, I should say, But I'm holding out hope. That's all I can say. And I believe that is my last music-related topic that I have for now. I think so. I'm looking at the list in a pretty... Oh! This upcoming week, this Saturday, which will be this Saturday as this episode is released. Not this Saturday, this Friday. Duh. New Idola album. I listened to both of the singles. I definitely like No Weapon Shall Prosper a little bit more than the other one, whose name I've already forgotten. But I'm hoping, this album will be really good. Idola, again, is another band that I've gotten into fairly recently with their last album, The Architect. It's called The Architect. And, I listened to that a whole lot after it came out, which was not long after I moved back here to Jackson. I feel like, I don't know, it's not really bookends. It would be bookends if this album came out and I was moving away, which I'm not. I should say, I'm not moving away. So that doesn't really make sense. I don't know, full circle moment. Maybe a full circle moment. I think it might be a full circle moment. I am looking forward to it. I am going to give it some spins. I do really like The Architect. I should really give that I shouldn't say, I should give that the full album listen. I've been listening to it on and off for like weeks. I have been listening to it. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. But anyways, again, another song on that I have a story for. I'll say it because it's brief. Elephant Bones. When I was working my last job and I lived a little bit farther away than I do now, there is this boba place that I like to go to that it's still pretty far, but it was closer to where I worked than where I work now. So it's kind of a hassle to get out there, which, by the way, living in a metro area kind of sucks. Everything so far away. Hate that. Hate it down. Anyways, after work, I was driving to that boba place and there is a large body of water called the Ross Barnett Reservoir. And there's this like big long road that goes across. I'm assuming it's a dam. I'm not really sure what the structure is, but basically, if you look on a map of the Jackson metro area and you see the Ross Barnett Reservoir and it's like coming down from the north and it just like abruptly stops. That line there's a road on that line. And I was driving down that road, which, by the way, I mean, it's not super treacherous, but it's a 2-lane road on a raised thing. On one side is some water, and on the other side is like a really steep embankment. It's not really that scary to drive, to be completely honest, but it's definitely an experience. But I want to say my first time driving over that road, I don't know what that road is called. It probably has a name. I don't know the name of it. But my first time driving over that road was also my first time listening to The Architect in full, which that doesn't sound right. Well, yes, it does, because I would only listen to like the first half of the album on the way to work, because that's how long my commute was from my apartment to where I used to work. My old apartment, I should say, to where I used to work. It was like half of the album The Architect by Idola, if you want to get a good idea of my commute. So I hadn't really gotten a good listen of like the second half of the album. So I was listening to, Elephant Bones, which is a really, I don't know, vibey song while driving across the reservoir to get to the other side of it to get some boba. That's my story for that song. Not very interesting, again, which is why I'm not going to go into it with like every song. I don't know. Let me know. Would anyone want to see that? I'm open to the idea. I'm open. I'm suggestible. Okay, that is all of my music-related topics. And I still have a lot to talk about. Well, okay, no. I've already done that one. And that one's not going to take long, and that one's not going to take long either. Okay, so recently, I saw a movie in the theaters called Immaculate. It's with, I was going to say Margot Robbie. Oh my god. That is not her. All blonde women do not look alike. Oh my goodness. Problematic. Anyways, with Sydney Sweeney, she plays a nun who gets pregnant at a nunnery. A nunnery? I'm honest. Nope. Where do the nuns live? They live at the nunneries, but that's not what it was called. Basically, it's somewhere in like Italy. Was it in Italy? I actually don't know. Somewhere really Catholic. I'm assuming Italy. I don't know why I can't remember whether or not it was actually Italy, but I'm pretty sure it's Italy. Anyways, she's a nun, an American nun in an Italian nunnery, maybe. I think so. Anyways, she gets pregnant, and then there's like hijinks that ensue, which, I mean, it's not really hijinks. It is a horror movie, I think. I don't remember ever being very scared, which that's not a read or anything. I don't know. I think this is also like the first, I guess, horror movie that I've kind of seen like by myself, not without any other people, since I went and saw Midsummer not long after it came out solo, which is crazy. Because that movie was like legitimately really intense. I don't know how I did that. Great movie. Really intense though. Like, whoa. Anyways, another blonde woman in there. Connections. Anyways. Immaculate, I will say, I don't know, thinking about it now, it's been a little while since I've seen it. Been a couple of weeks. What's my verdict? I don't know. It was kind of just okay. It was fine. Listen, as someone who was raised Catholic, I do love a good Catholic horror. I'm not gonna lie, when I was a child, The Binding of Isaac did legitimately freak me out so much, but I was also really fascinated with it at the same time. Like, I was genuinely scared, like afraid of the game The Binding of Isaac, but I was also like really fascinated with it at the same time. It was a strange dynamic that I had. Now as an adult, obviously I'm not scared of it anymore. Still fascinated by it, but again, another Catholic horror. As a game, not as a movie. I don't really consume a lot of horror. I don't really consume a lot of religious horror. I would like to consume more, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of religious horror can just be kind of hokey. Like, ooh, demons and exorcisms and stuff like that. And I like Immaculate because it really doesn't include any of the supernatural. In fact, I kind of like the theme, how, it really is kind of using religion as a method of control. Like, there really is no spooky, scary ghost stuff going on. It really is just like people being horrible to one another. which is the real horror of like real life, is people being horrible to one another. So I think that's why I liked it in the way that I did. I did just say it was just fine, but I would like to say I did like it. Um and again, not super scary, but I don't know. Like Sydney Sweeney, I haven't really seen her in anything, honestly. I haven't watched Euphoria. I did not see the thing that she was in where she was reality winner. And I can't anyone but you. I feel like the marketing for that movie was so friggin' annoying that, well, at my big age, I'm not really a rom-com girly anymore. Middle school me, I might have ate it up, but me now, I'm not into it. So I wasn't gonna see the movie to begin with, but the marketing for it was just so annoying. Like I'm not into that. I'm trying to think of other things that Sydney Sweeney was in. I can't remember. I mean, I don't know. I haven't consumed a lot of things that she's been in, but I will say she may have acted her butt off. She may have done the thing in that, especially like the final act of the movie where she's like actively in labor and like trying to find her way out of this nunnery, and in the last like, I swear it feels like that scene goes on for 2 minutes where she's finally made her way out, but now it's been a while since she's been in friggin' labor because again she's pregnant throughout the whole ordeal, and she's like screaming at the top of her lungs for it feels like 2 solid minutes trying to push out Jesus. Literally. I don't want to spoil too much because I do kind of want you to see it, which I mean, that ending part, that was kind of a big spoiler. Oopsie. I still want you to see it. You watching, I want you to see it. It is kind of a good time. Kind of popcorn movie-ish. Not terrible. The vibes are good. I liked it. See Immaculate. Sydney Sweeney could give me some money for that, but anyways, whatever. We're unpaid as of right now, but okay, I'll save Drag Race for last. I'm not gonna forget. I wrote it down. So I have this one again. It's not really gonna take long for me to talk about this. I have been watching Taskmaster for a while, probably like 2 years now, if I had to guess. Yeah, I'd say 2 years is a pretty charitable estimate. But let's see. I don't know when I started watching it. But I do love a good British panel show. Like, I really liked What I Lie to You. I still like it. I don't know why I said it past tense. I really like What I Lie to You. I love me some QI. Like, oh, I love QI so much. And I think Taskmaster is definitely my fave. There are some other panel shows that I legitimately just haven't watched. Like, 9 out of 10 Cats, this countdown, and Have I Got News for You? And there's some other ones that I either have forgotten or I just don't know about that I haven't watched. But those three, I rock with those three. And I especially rock with Taskmaster. And what I like especially about British panel shows in general, and especially Taskmaster, is that they just post them on YouTube in full. Like whole seasons, whole series, sorry, are just on YouTube. So the entirety of Taskmaster is on YouTube. Like right now, you can go and watch it, which is great for me as someone who really doesn't want to pay for another streaming service. And I've actually never looked this up because I guess I haven't needed to because again, it's all on YouTube, but I don't know if Taskmaster is on any like streaming services here. Like I could probably get, what is it, BritBox, or I don't know. Can American people get BBC iPlayer? It's not even on BBC though. It's on Channel 4. So whatever Channel 4's thingy is, could I even like get that? I don't think so. So I don't even know if it would be like normally available to me outside of, 1, 2, 3 movies type of services. But it is available on YouTube, and I have been watching it like to go to bed for on and off, I would say, for like months, apparently years now. So at this point, I think I've seen definitely every series. I've seen every every series at least one time, and series 2 through, I'll say 12 or 13 at least twice. That's, how much I've watched it. And I'm going through it again because I just finished not the most recent series, but the one before that. So series 16, I just finished that one. Series 17 is now airing. I'm gonna wait for all the episodes to air before I actually watch it. So it'll be about, I think from now, 8 weeks. I think it might take. I've watched all the Champion of Champions. I've watched most of the New Year's treats. I think there might be one or two that I haven't watched yet. Needless to say, I am a tremendous Taskmaster fan, even though I don't really talk about it. I haven't actually looked for this, but I think it would be really nice if I could have a miniature version of the Taskmaster house just to put on my shelf. I think that would be really cute. I already have a print of some art that someone made of inside the caravan that I've been meaning to buy for a really long time now, that I want to get it and I want to frame it. I want to put it like in my bedroom because I think it would make me happy. And also because my bedroom is just like a really bare. Like I really need to do some decorating in there. Like my living room is kind of a vibe, but my bedroom is like, dang, you really live like this, you know? Like I'm not sleeping on a mattress on the floor because I am not an animal, but it's kind of bare. Maybe because I don't really spend all my time there anymore. You know, when I was a kid, not having an entire house to myself, I would spend all my time in my room, so I would decorate it really nice. But now, since I spend all my time in my living room, it's decorated really nice, and my bedroom is kind of lacking. Anyways, that's besides the point. Something that I've noticed, I bring all this up to say, something that I've noticed is that in the older series, I'm not gonna stop doing that, it's funny. In the older series of of Taskmaster, they will have, because they're taking the versions that have aired on TV and putting them on YouTube, they will have the part breaks, like the bumps, that's what they're called. They'll have the bumps in the YouTube versions, which I really like, because especially for like the later seasons, sorry, the later series is series plural? I don't know. In the later iterations of Taskmaster. Also, I should say I only watched the British version. I know there's a New Zealand and an Australian version and an American version. I'm not into it. I only like the British version. I mean, the Australian and the New Zealand one might be fine, but I don't want to watch them. Plain and simple. Either way. Moving on. In the episode bumps, there would be not episode, the bumps during the episodes, they'd be like really creative and like really fun, and sometimes it'd be callbacks to like older older series. Sorry, I'm gonna stop now. Older series of the show, and I really like them. They're really fun. They're really whimsical. However, I have some beef with whomever is in charge of this on the Taskmaster YouTube channel. I'm talking directly to you, Taskmaster YouTube channel. Put the bumps back in the episodes. I think whatever versions they're getting to put on YouTube come from the streaming version now, which is like, okay, it's whatever. Technically, you don't need the bumps in there because there's no commercial breaks because it's on YouTube, but I want to see the bumps. I want to see them. They're fun. They're whimsical. I like them. I want to see them. And I noticed this recently. The most recent series, the most recent two, so let's see, 16, 15, maybe even 14, they took the bumps out for the YouTube version, and that makes me so upset. I want them back. I want the bumps back, please. They're so much fun. Anyway, that was the only thing I had to say about that. I just felt really strongly about it. I want the bumps back. I just want them back, please. Your time starts now. Put the bumps back into Taskmaster. Your time starts now. I'm waiting. Fastest wins. Okay. Anyway, if you're into low stakes, well, no stakes game shows, I would recommend Taskmaster. I feel like American game shows, they always have money on the line, and there's always some sob story about, ooh, I need to pay my taxes. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind. I need to pay off my loans. I live in a trailer and I just want to live in a real house. I want to give my kids a normal upbringing. I have medical bills. It's all very dystopian. There probably are game shows like that in the UK. I don't watch them. But this is really just like 5 comedians and or media personalities who are usually British, but they usually have like the one token international person for each series. Um, and they don't win anything. They win a trophy, and that's it. Not even bragging rights. Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of Taskmaster is just kind of debasing yourself on national television, which is funny, but it's like, oh wow, okay. The real the real prize is the friends we made along the way, truly. That's the real prize of Taskmaster, anyways. Also, I heard there's a Taskmaster podcast with Ed Gamble. I don't know if that's still going on, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what they would talk about. Maybe I should listen to it. I don't know if I would like it though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give it a Google. Let's see. Taskmaster podcast. Let's see here. There's podcasts plural. What is this? There's two. So there's Taskmaster the podcast hosted by Ed Gamble, who is the winner of I forgot which series. I'm just gonna say 10. I don't think it's 10, truly, but nope, series 9. I was close. Let's see. Welcome to the official page for Taskmaster the podcast. Episodes are released every Thursday night and are hosted by critically acclaimed stand-up chick-fil lover and Series 9 champion Ed Gamble. We join with a special guest to dissect, discuss, and disagree with all of the Taskmaster's questionable decisions. I guess this is kind of like the pit stop, maybe, if I'm making a comparison to Drag Race, which I will talk about in a little bit. I guess that's what that's like. Okay. You can also download and listen to previous episodes. So far, Ed and his team of special guests have chatted through all of series 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 through 12. So I guess they're working through it, which is fun. Oh, there's 153 episodes, and the most recent one came out on the 4th, so last Thursday. And then there's the People's Podcast, which I don't know what that is. And that one has had, I don't know, quite a few. Oh, you know what? It might be like you know what? It's not important. I don't know why I'm looking at this. Anyways, why was I even talking about the podcast? Oh, because I remembered that they had one. Anyways, I'm just asking politely. It's probably too late for series 17, but it won't be too late for series 18. Unless, of course, I don't know, there is a possibility that, I hope this isn't the case because that would really suck, but if they took Taskmaster off the air and have relegated to like a streaming show, that would be messed up. I don't know how popular Taskmaster is over in the Isles, but I don't know, like imagine, this obviously isn't a one-to-one comparison, but if they took all three, well, is it 3? Oh, okay, it's not 3. No, it is 3. It is 3 now. All 3 laws and orders is off of NBC and put it on Peacock only. That would be a national tragedy if that happened. I don't know if that would be the case over in the Isleses if they took Taskmaster off TV. So I'm wondering, is it like that because now there are no bumps? I hope not. Anyways, enough of waffling about Taskmaster. I'm going to waffle a little bit about Drag Race. There's really not a whole lot to talk about. I will say, we're down to the top 3 at last. This top 3 makes complete sense with my fantasy. Having Q be in the top 4, that was an affront to me personally, but she ain't in the top 4 no more, so it kind of don't matter. We're getting really close to the finale. Next week, my voice is just breaking all over the place. Good Lord. Next week, normally I don't like lip sync Lollapaloozas because I'm not going to lie. The lip syncs, those aren't really my favorite parts of Drag Race, but I guess they're a very important part of the competition. But this upcoming week's episode will have a lip sync Lollapalooza with all of the eliminated queens. And thankfully, they aren't lip syncing to come back on the show because that would be really annoying if they just elongate this even more. Like, let them be out Thankfully, they are letting them be out because they're competing for money this time. 50 grand, which used to be half of the prize that they got. Now it's a quarter? 250s, yeah. It's a quarter of the grand prize, which is crazy. They're just handing out money like it's nobody's business on Drag Race now. Like you could fully lose, but come away with like 10 grand. It's crazy. Or 50 grand in this case. Like, wow, you know? I guess the real losers of Drag Race are the ones who aren't able to continue their careers post show for one reason or another. Yeah. It really is what you do after the show on Drag Race versus what you do on the show. That's important, I think. And I think, by now the queens understand that, but I feel like picked this up and didn't drink from it. Anywho, how was I saying? Down to the top 3. Next episode will be a Lollapalooza. I don't know. I mean, obviously I'll watch it, but yeah, I don't know. Part of me doesn't want it. Like, part of me is just like, okay, get to the finale. Like, I don't care about all that. But, I don't know. I guess it'll be fun. Kind of not really adding or taking away from the competition. I will say this, though. The Queen of Flips Reign of Terror is apparently not over yet. Because I can already see that the diva out flipping with her cousins, Maya Amon LePage, is probably going to sweep. I will say that much. If she swept her way out of the bottom like 3 or 4 times in a row, like surprisingly, I think she's gonna get pretty far in that Lollapalooza. I will be genuinely surprised if she doesn't. And honestly, for this one, even though, I don't necessarily see her as a front runner for like the main competition, for this one, I think I'm rooting for her. I think the tides have changed for the Queen of Flips Reign of Terror. I think I'm on her side now, because now it's just about lip syncing. So it's like, okay, well, clearly I'm going to be on the side of the person who's the best at it. So, but yeah, that'll be next week. After that, who knows? It might be, what did they do? Let's see. It wasn't for the last episode, but for the one before that, they had like a whole episode. It wasn't really a reunion. It was kind of like I don't know, what do you call it? They're kind of profiling each of at this point it was a top 5 because what season are we on now? 15? Nope. Actually don't know. What? How? That's insane. 2 seasons previous from now. I don't know which number that is. It's late. I've had a long weekend. It's literally almost 8 o'clock. I need to go to bed. We're not gonna. Anyways, 2 seasons ago, they didn't do a proper like reunion. They just kind of profiled the top 5. Yes, it was the top 5 at this point. Cause what's her name? She's dressed as a mouse for like the final lip sync. Why can't I remember her name? I can't remember anyone's name. But it was her versus, oh man, I'm gonna remember it. Angeria versus the other one. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. My inability to remember names will go down in history. Like, good lord. Angeria versus the other one, where everyone was like, oh, I just can't pick. Both of you are going to the finale. That one. The episode after that. Not a finale, but like not a proper finale, but just like a profile of each of the queens. I'm wondering if they do that again, because they didn't do that in that next season. They had like an actual like reunion. Did I say not I've clearly been talking for far too long. Anyways, who am I rooting for this season of Drag Race? I will say it's definitely Sapphira. I did say earlier that Nymphia was a queen that could do no wrong in my eyes. And you know what? If she won, I wouldn't be mad. I think, yeah, I'm definitely if I had to pick my top 3, Sapphira number 1, Nymphia number 2, and PJ, I guess, number 3. Like, do I want to see her fail and flop? I don't know. she was turned around in my eyes. At first she was like the mean girl, which, by the way, I feel like now, since it's been so far removed from all of the mandatory meeting stuff, I haven't forgotten that Plain Jane was dog walking this girl sunrise to sunset, like all of the time in the earlier episodes before she was eliminated. Like, that was kind of crazy, right? That was a little bit much. Can we agree that that was like a little bit much? And then we just kind of moved on from the whole Plain Jane a mandatory meeting thing. Like, was that not a lot to y'all? That was a lot to me, you know? Like, I'm just saying. And to even bring her up long after she's gone, right? During the whole book, oh my god, stop hitting things. During the whole book interview with Matt Rogers, like, you couldn't just like leave well enough alone, PJ. Like, why do you keep bringing her up? Like, what? Like, why? You know? And it's like, goodness, imagine being a mandatory meeting, right? Sitting at home, bowl of popcorn in your lap, looking to see how this season that you were on is going to play out, and all of you see is you getting dog walked on national television, like, for honestly no reason. Like, I mean, okay, she wasn't super polished, but like, I liked the mandatory meeting. I'll say it, I liked her. Like, yeah, was that purple look kind of suspect? Maybe. But that doesn't mean she didn't have. It took nerve. It took nerve. And you know what one ballroom announcer said long ago? It do take nerve. And she had the nerve. So we can't fault her for that. So it's like, what's the deal? You know? Anyway, I'm ready for PJ to get what's coming. Okay, not get what's coming to her, but I hope she faces some pushback in the reunion episode. Like, I hope Rue is like, you know, Miss Plain, you said all of these things. You really made a mandatory meetings life a living hell on this television show. Like, what was that all about? You know, like, something. Give me something. We can't just walk away from the season just like magically forgetting all of that, because it was far too much. And for what? You know? For what? So, anyways, yeah. I've been talking for a while now. Clearly, my language centers are starting to break down. But let me make sure I didn't forget anything. I'm pretty sure that's everything. It is everything. That'll be it for the 24th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. I didn't even say what I was in the beginning of the episode. I have been your winningest host, Aaron. And thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. Follow me on Twitter. Because if you're not following me on Twitter, let me hear it. That's right. You're only getting half the story. And I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully with some news about the thing that I am resisting talking about right at this moment. Maybe, who knows? Ooh. If not next episode, then maybe the episode after that. Perhaps. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, that's enough.